There was once a small village where life was quiet and simple. In this village, beside a wide river, stood a little wooden house. The house was old, but it carried many memories. Inside the house lived a young boy named Daniel and his mother, Clara. Daniel was only 12 years old, but he already understood many things about life. His father had passed away when Daniel was very young, so his mother worked hard to raise him alone. She cleaned houses, washed clothes, and sometimes even sold vegetables in the market. Every morning, Daniel would wake up early. He would sit near the window and watch the river flow. The sound of the water gave him peace. His mother often said, "The river never stops, Daniel. Just like life, it keeps moving forward." Daniel wanted to help his mother, but he was still a child. He went to school in the morning and worked in a small shop in the evening. The shopkeeper, Mr. Harris, was kind to him. He paid Daniel a little money, and Daniel always gave it to his mother. One evening, Clara came home later than usual. She looked very tired. Daniel noticed her hands were shaking as she placed the basket on the table. "Mother, are you okay?" Daniel asked softly. Clara smiled, but her smile was weak. "I am fine, my dear. Just a little tired. Don't worry." But Daniel did worry. He was too young to carry all the responsibility, yet his heart was heavy. He wished he could do something more, something bigger, to make life easier for her. That night, Daniel lay awake, listening to the river outside. He whispered to himself, "One day, I will make her proud. I will take away her pain." The stars were shining brightly in the sky, and the moonlight touched the roof of their little wooden house. Daniel closed his eyes and dreamed of a better tomorrow. But deep in his heart, he knew the road ahead would not be easy. The next morning, Daniel woke up to the sound of heavy rain. The river outside was no longer calm. Its waters were strong and wild, crashing against the stones. Daniel stood at the window and felt a strange fear in his chest. Clara was already awake, preparing breakfast. Her face looked pale, and she moved slowly. Daniel noticed that she coughed more than before, but she tried to hide it. "Mother," Daniel said gently, "maybe you should rest today. I can go to the market and sell the vegetables." Clara shook her head. "No, Daniel. You must go to school. Education is your path to a better life. Promise me you will never stop learning." Daniel wanted to argue, but he saw the determination in her eyes. He nodded quietly. "I promise, Mother." At school, Daniel found it hard to focus. His teacher explained a lesson, but his mind wandered. He kept thinking of his mother working in the rain, carrying heavy baskets with weak hands. He felt a mix of sadness and anger. After school, instead of going to the shop, Daniel ran to the market. He searched through the busy crowd until he saw Clara. She was standing by her small stall, her clothes wet, her hair sticking to her face. "Mother." Daniel called out. "Let me help you." Clara was surprised, but she smiled. "Daniel, you should not be here." "I cannot just watch," Daniel replied. "We are in this together." For the first time, Clara allowed him to stand beside her and sell vegetables. They worked together until the market closed. The rain finally stopped, and a rainbow stretched across the sky. As they walked home, Clara placed her hand on Daniel's shoulder. Her voice was soft but firm. "You are growing so fast, my son. But remember, you are still a child. You don't have to carry all the burdens." Daniel looked at her with tears in his eyes. "But Mother, I don't want you to suffer alone. I promise I will always be with you, no matter what." That night, as the river calmed down again, Daniel felt the weight of his promise. He didn't know how, but deep inside, he believed that one day he would keep it. Weeks passed, and Daniel noticed his mother's health was slowly getting worse. Her cough became stronger, and sometimes she had to sit down to catch her breath. Still, Clara never complained. She always said, "I'm fine, Daniel. Don't worry." But Daniel worried more each day. He worked harder at the shop and helped her at the market whenever he could. At night, when Clara was asleep, he would sit by the river, staring at the moonlight. He whispered his secret dream: "One day, I will study hard, get a good job, and give her the life she deserves." One cold evening, Clara fell sick and couldn't get out of bed. Daniel rushed to her side. He held her hand tightly and begged, "Mother, please get well. I can't do this without you." Clara smiled weakly. Her eyes were full of love. "Daniel, listen to me. Life is not always easy. But remember what I told you, the river never stops. You must keep moving forward, no matter what happens." Daniel's heart broke, but he nodded. "I will, Mother. I promise." Clara closed her eyes and rested. That night, Daniel stayed awake, sitting beside her, holding her hand. He felt both fear and courage inside him. The next morning, Clara was still weak, but Daniel carried hope in his heart. He knew the path ahead would be difficult, but he was no longer afraid. He remembered his mother's words, the lessons of the river, and the rainbow after the storm. Years later, Daniel grew into a strong young man. He worked hard, studied harder, and finally achieved his dream. He built a better life, not only for himself but also in memory of his mother. Whenever he stood near the river, he felt her presence. He would whisper, "Mother, I kept my promise. I kept moving forward." The little wooden house by the river still stood, filled with love, sacrifice, and hope. And though Clara was gone, her spirit lived on in Daniel's heart, guiding him like the river, always flowing, always strong.